everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Crypto City. This is actually a very important episode. Tonight is all about something we need to take seriously, staying safe in the digital world. Before we bring out our expert guest, CyberShay, I want to take a few minutes to set the stage and talk about why cybersecurity and understanding the technology around us matters more than ever right now. So first, let's look at the bigger global picture. Over in China, President Xi Jinping recently made it clear that AI self-sufficiency is now a national priority. In simple terms, China is racing to develop its own AI chips, software, and education systems, so they don't have to rely heavily on anyone else, especially the U.S. These are very tumultuous times. And companies like Huawei are already developing their own advanced chips to replace NVIDIA processors, the ones that power most AI today. And they're speeding up education programs to grow the next generation of AI experts. So you might be saying, why does this matter? We know that everybody's doing AI things, but because this isn't just about making apps faster, it's a race for AI dominance. And China is moving really fast. They're proving that they don't need anyone else to succeed. And AI leadership means economic leadership. It means national power. And when major world powers race to build faster, smarter AI, security risks grow faster too. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, one of the major AI labs here in the U.S., just put out a warning. He said, "We don't fully understand how AI models make decisions. Unlike regular software where every move is programmed, AI grows like a living thing. Its inner workings are complex and often unpredictable." So think of it this way. Think of it like planting a tree. You can choose where to plant it. You can give it water and sunlight, but you can't predict exactly how the branches are going to grow. And that's kind of how AI works today. We set the conditions, but we don't know the way it thinks and operates and emerges on its own. And we don't often know why it makes the decisions that it does. We know it goes out and it ferrets information, but why does it choose one thing over another? Anthropic has been trying to map the thoughts inside AI models, sort of like creating an MRI for AI brains. Even the people building these models can't fully explain why AI chooses one word over another, why it's accurate, but sometimes way off, and why sometimes it develops surprising and unexpected behaviors. But right now, that work is way behind how fast AI itself is advancing. In fact, by 2026, we could have AI systems operating like a country of geniuses in a data center. And if we can't understand what they're thinking, we can't fully control them. And that is scary. The biggest danger, though, isn't that technology exists. The biggest danger is when we don't understand it, or worse, when we pretend it's not even happening. Modern AI systems are already too complicated to explain easily. And when you add cybersecurity risks like hacking and phishing and deepfakes and stolen data into the mix, it becomes even easier for bad actors to exploit gaps in our understanding. Not just about hacking or scams, but also the fact that we are rapidly deploying systems that we don't fully understand into our economy, into our governments, and our daily lives. Because if we can't see inside the AI brain, we can't predict or control it. We can't easily catch it making mistakes. And worse, if something dangerous develops like deception, manipulation, or unsafe decision-making, we might not even realize it until it's far too late. It's not science fiction. It's real and it's already here. This is a part of our everyday life. And here's the truth. Ignoring it is not going to make it go away. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open at night, would you? And you wouldn't hand your wallet off to a stranger and hope for the best. The internet is no different. You have to lock your doors. AI and Web3, you have to protect yourself because the risks are evolving faster than most people realize. Modern AI It's grown, not built. It's like nurturing a colony of hopes in the way that it behaves, but you can't see what is happening deep inside. This makes it incredibly difficult to detect when AI might be creating cyber weapons, assisting bad actors, or behaving in ways that could threaten safety and privacy. This opacity is why interpretability research is now a race against time. If we don't find better ways to understand and control AI, we risk unleashing systems that could outpace our ability to manage them safely. It's already starting to happen. So why does this matter right here tonight? You don't have to be a cybersecurity expert to stay safe. You just have to be informed and take simple steps to protect yourself. Your identity and your future are all at risk, but you can make steps to help it. Because while massive companies and governments are racing to build the future, you are already living it. You're interacting with AI every day in apps, in communications, in VR, in your personal and professional lives without even realizing it sometimes. And if we aren't careful, if we ignore these risks or hope they don't apply to us, we make ourselves vulnerable. We're vulnerable to data theft. We're vulnerable to scams. We're vulnerable to systems we don't even realize we're trusting. Staying safe isn't about fear. It's about education, awareness, smart habits. All of these things contribute. And that's why we've brought CyberShay here tonight. She's an expert who's going to break it all down for us in a way that's easy to understand and even easier to apply. Because the truth is, education is your greatest weapon and your strongest shield. She's an expert in helping people just like us every day, users, creators, builders, business people. We have to protect ourselves and our data and our futures in this digital world. And she's going to walk us through real world practical tips. And you know what? She's going to do it in a way that will make sense to you. And she's also a part of our community every day. So she's someone who is willing to talk to us and help us. In a world that's moving faster than ever, your best defense isn't fear, it's knowledge. So I appreciate all of you who are here tonight for caring enough to learn and for helping us all build a safer community, but that we can still embrace AI and technology and all these things that are being given to us as long as we're smart about it. So please, now I ask you to help me welcome CyberShay to the stage. CyberShay, please join us. Welcome. Welcome. Come on in, grab a seat. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And we're really excited. Yeah, you know, you've been a huge part of our community for years. You've been on here multiple times, talking about all the different things that you do in VR. But cybersecurity is what you do in the real world, in the physical world, not just, you know, part of what you kind of do a little bit in here. You do amazing things in here, but you try to keep people safe out there in the physical world. And tonight you're going to share some of that expertise with us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, let's talk a little bit about, you know, we're going to move through a slideshow that she has put together for us. And as always, we will upload these slides into our Discord later on. But let's talk a little bit about this.
Hi, everyone. I'm CyberShay, and I'm going to talk about cybersecurity, data protection, and staying safe in the digital world.
And you've actually written books about this.
Yeah. I wrote a book. I wrote one book called Cybersecurity for Parents, and I'm teaching parents how to be safe in cyber world with their kids and being a big mentor to mentor them and being safe online.
That's so big of you too.
Yeah. A little bit about me. I've been in IT for 10 years, cybersecurity for 5 years, and right now I'm a cybersecurity team lead at CyberLines. I work blue team and red team, offensive side and defensive side, cybersecurity. Okay. So I'm on both sides.
All right. So now you're going to tell us a little bit about what cybersecurity actually is.
Mm-hmm. So cybersecurity is about safeguarding your computers, your networks, data from unauthorized access and attacks. it's like a digital door lock to your computer and other things around unlock and safety. And also protects your personal data, safeguards and devices and sensitive information. Next slide. Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So why does cybersecurity matter? It matters because it protects your personal information and prevents identity and theft and exposure to private information that can harm your reputation or security.
Mm-hmm.
It also prevents financial loss, stop hackers from trying to steal your money or information in your banking information that can possibly drain your accounts. And there's some real life impacts that it can cause, like it can disrupt hospitals and other things, essential services and things in your daily life.
Now, this can be for both personal and as well as business, right? I mean, just because people are always hearing about their identity being stolen, this is a big issue for companies. I know my company, we do cybersecurity training every year for the employees, but we carry it out monthly. We have different phishing tests and stuff, right? So it's for kind of everyone.
Yeah, especially a lot of companies are doing that. They want to keep their employees safe so that it doesn't mess up going to their company's tax and stuff. So a lot of the cyber threats in 2025 have to do with ransomware. It's when hackers come in and lock up your files and demand money for return. Then we have attacks that are data breaches. Somehow information gets out and to the public, get exploited to the public with data breaches. And then we have phishing attacks with emails being sent out. And then we also have AI powered attacks, is like the new one now, that they're using AI to create attacks, and they're using fake messages and deep fake. When you're thinking that meaning that they're using AI for illusion, and you think it's real, but it's really AI doing the attack.
Now, I hear that, like, I mean, I know personally in my company, we had one attack that came through. It came through email, and it was actually something that sat there for quite a long time dormant. And then they were watching, they were just paying attention to everything that was going on. And then a few months later, they came through and they ended up stealing $20,000 from us.
Wow.
But I mean, that's like that type of an attack. Those are very common, though. That's what the insurance company told us. It's very common, which is why we have some cyber liability insurance and things like that.
Yeah. So there's some recent real world examples that happened. Like I'm talking about here, like 2025, there was a telecom data breach. Hackers got hit in UK. Telecom giant got hit, compromised billions of customer data. Then we have in 2023 hospital attack. A New York hospital system was crippled, and even the ambulance had to divert their emergency ERs because of this. And in 2024, there was a breach in brands, Casio. Employees and records got stolen.
Now, is this also, we hear a lot about, not just stores like, Target and places like that where data gets pushed out, but a lot of times medical records. I mean, that seems to be becoming more prevalent, where you'd think you'd be more protected with HIPAA and stuff, but not necessarily.
Yeah, that too. And also the devices too. Like hospital devices are getting hacked too because the software is so old and they're not updating it, so that tends to have security breaches in it sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing is when you have social media, you have to be careful with the risk of oversharing online. Like sharing locations has become a problem now. Like AI can detect where your location is, So you don't want to share in real time a lot of your stuff. Like you can take a picture and put it in ChatGPT, and the picture can tell you by the background where you're at. So you want to be careful. The same thing like the photo clues, like I was talking about, the backgrounds of the photos, they can detect personal details like birthdays and names should be like protected. And targeting criminals are targeting, so you don't want to announce your vacations that you're taking publicly. Next slide. Next slide.
It's coming. Sorry, there's a little latency.
Okay.
There we go.
So the common online scams to watch out for, the popular are the phishing emails and texts. People are doing those fake texts to people, and they look legitimate, asking for passwords and clicks. But you gotta be careful with those. And they also have impersonal calls when scammers try to call and act like they're a tech support person or some type of person demanding for money that you pay them money. Like we had a lot of those going on with the tolls, and then a lot of times Amazon. They have Amazon people pretending like they're tech support, or they're pretending like you bought something from Amazon, and they want you to go into your computer, so you get your computer, so they can try to remote in. So look out for that. And then look out for fake websites. Sometimes you have websites that look like the website, but it's really not the website. And they get your information in, and then they get through. They get your information, and then they get the credentials, and they get into your accounts.
I feel like I've heard a lot of stories lately. The impersonation calls. I was hearing a story just a couple of weeks ago about someone where AI actually mimicked a family member's voice and called up and said, hey, I'm having trouble. I got stuck. I need money, blah, blah, blah. And the grandmother sent the money because it sounded like her granddaughter's voice and she was in trouble. And that's scary because we all see how AI can mimic so well. That's scary.
Yeah, it's scary now. AI can trick people. And to look out for malicious apps and AI deepfake scams, fake and rogue apps. The apps could look masquerade or legit like real games and stuff, but they can steal your data and install malware on your games. I mean, on your computer if you're not careful of the ones that you're installing. So only download official apps from the official stores. And review the ratings carefully, and be suspicious of apps requesting excessive information or permission. And then be careful with the deep fake scans. There's a lot of that AI generated deep fake scans out there with acting like they're celebrities trying to endorse things, and they're not really celebrities, and whole bunch of other things on fake calls with voices. That's not the person. They may even act like you said, the same thing. Act like they're your family member, but they're really not. Trying to get you. And another thing is, you should always protect your account by using strong passwords. Usually 12 characters, letters, numbers is a great way. Unique passwords. Don't overuse your same password all the time. Having a password manager is good. You can download a software that has a password manager or some other way that you can get a password manager. You can save your passwords in there, and using two-factor authentication is good too. Yeah.
I actually, at work, I use one called LastPass, and it stores all my passwords in there, but it has like a master password that protects all of it. So I got, when you created it, the whole company got it installed so everyone could have their own passwords and not have to worry about, remembering 50 passwords. It would store them all. But you just always have to remember your master password. And it even gives you you can type in like a sentence that would be your clue for that master password. But I've gotten locked out a couple of times. And if you get locked out, you cannot get back in, which is the great thing about it. So somebody else isn't easily hacking it if I can't even hack my own. But it's definitely great because it's browser based. So I can log into any browser that I want. As long as I'm logged in as me, I can have access to it. But if I don't actually put in the password to access it, it won't autofill anything. So it's very useful. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, understand. Yep. There's several of those out there you can use. Yeah. And privacy settings. Make sure you you have great privacy settings and safe sharing. Adjust your privacy settings. Make sure profiles is private. Sometimes friends only. It depends on the profile that you're using. You might want to have 2 different profiles, like one for that's if it's major. You might want to have this private, friends only, and maybe just a public one or something. Review public information, hide your birthdays, contacts, all those informations. Another thing is think before you post. Avoid oversharing things that shouldn't be shared. Connect wisely, only with people you basically know. Yeah.
Which is a hard one because, especially the connecting wisely, because, we're all in here networking. We're all building a bigger network of people to do business with, and you never know that, you meet people in here, they seem great. And then you find out maybe they're not so great. But, and I'm not talking personality wise. I'm talking maybe they're out here and they're just trying to siphon information from you. And you have to be really careful of that. So, if you're going to connect with people, I like the idea of, a lot of us have our VR accounts. And then we have our personal accounts. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if everybody in the world sees what I do out here in VR, but in my personal life, only a select few people have been allowed to join that account, which is just keeping yourself safe, and as your personal relationships grow with someone, you might allow them to follow your personal stuff because you know them better. But out of the gate, it's good to keep it a little bit more surface level.
And separate. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Next one. Staying safe on public Wi-Fi. That's a big one because a lot of us, we go to like a coffee shop and we use the Wi-Fi in a coffee shop. Sometimes that's not safe to always use. Like it's been recommended to sometimes to use a VPN before you use one of those, because using those public Wi-Fis a lot of times attackers can get on there and get a hold of your private information and data.
Now, I have a question for you on the HTTPS. Like, there's a lot of websites out there that are just HTTP without the S. So how can you know which ones are, they might not be bad just because they don't have the S, but how can you tell? Is it just a risk that you take?
You can tell the HTTPS usually have like a lock on it.
Okay.
And you can see when a website launches if it has HTTPS on it, if it launches on it. But those are the more secure ones to use. HTTPS is more secure when browsing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to the next one. And you want to keep your devices secure. Make sure you back up your devices and update them for latest software. So when you do the latest software, most likely it includes a security update too. So you want to update to the latest. 100% update rate, install the softwares that are probably up to date because it patches the security hole, most likely. And then you can do the backup rule, 3, 2, 1, 3 copies to different media type, and then 1 is the offsite backup. You want to make sure your phone has 24/7 protection. Use antivirus, or your computer, not only phone, computer too. Antivirus, constantly monitor for threats. Next. And that one talks about cybersecurity for small businesses. I think the writing is going on that, but it had like a percentages of what, but for some reason it's missing on that one. But protecting your business data, the key practices is you want to have access controls on your software. Like, make sure people have certain accesses. You don't want your whole company to have the whole access. Give people the right access they're supposed to have. Limited access to certain people. Employee training, making sure they're aware of safe cyber practices at the company. Give them training. Regular backups and updates on software, computer software at the company. And make sure they're using update security tools. Into the next. The future of cyber threats in the horizon. Cyber threats is going to be like the future. It's going to be a lot of it coming. Even every time you turn on the news, there's something going on with cyber. Like some company, something happening with the government. It was a big thing with the government. Warfare. There's always something going on with cyber. So especially with AI, they're going to have a lot of AI enhanced attacks. Hackers are going to use AI to automate attacks and create ultra realistic fake scams. So they're always going to need cybersecurity professionals because, to help out with that. Cybersecurity professionals probably ain't going nowhere. Yeah, because they're going to need us. And Internet of Things. You want to make sure those things are protected. Your little devices that you carry around, your phone, laptop, Internet Things. The cyber warfare going to be popular. Critical infrastructure remains a target as nation states hackers. Like we was talking about earlier with the Chinese and the Russians. A lot of those cyber warfares, instead of them fighting a war, they're using cybersecurity to attack the infrastructure.
So scary.
Yeah. So scary. And data, Tizani, I can't really that is, but yeah, but you also want to make sure you're always finding ways to protect your data. You go to next slide. The future of AI to the rescue, cyber defenses. The future brings AI-powered defenses, threat factors, human password, guess. Oh, okay. So a lot of with this thing is going to be a lot of a lot of AI passwords problems. So soon passwords are going to be without you having to put passwords. It's going to be passwordless, like more like biometrics, and instead of using passwords, it's going to be more AI tools or you can use that's going to be passwordless.
Like my MacBook is fingerprint. You get your phone. It's based off your eyes and the different scans that it's doing. It's keeping it much more secure because people can't hack that so much because it's unique.
Yeah, and the best type of the safest and the best, more secure type of password is a biometric password.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. You can go to that one. Conclusion is the takeaways is shared responsibility. Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. And we should keep current and making sure we keep current on that cybersecurity factor. And stay vibrant. New threats is always emerging. So you want to stay on top of it. Read the news. That's one thing. Read the news. Read. My favorite thing to look at is LinkedIn. Well, I'm part of a big like cybersecurity network, so I'm always seeing the latest things on LinkedIn pop up about what's happening and what company just got hacked.
Mm-hmm.
So like saying that, and you can also read listen to cybersecurity podcasts on like the latest threats to find out things like that. And simple practice work. Strong password. Make sure you always have strong passwords. Don't overuse passwords the same thing across. Like, don't use the same password across everything. And just be future ready with a future mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And go to the next slide. And that's my book that I have out. It's on Amazon. It's an ebook on it's called Protecting Your Nest, Cybersecurity for Parents. And it's basically about teaching parents about cybersecurity and how they can teach their kids to be cyber safe. And actually teach the kids how to socialize in the world too, even if like they're in gaming or they're online, like not to talk to strangers, not to overshare to strangers, and also teaches parents how to see children's behavior if they change, like due to being online excessively. Sometimes children may have behavior changes that they don't recognize, and it can be something because of cyberbullying that they've been experiencing, and it's affecting their behavior. Mm-hmm. So it teaches you how to look out for behaviors, changes in your children, or if they've been affected by something online or in cybersecurity. Yeah.
So would this book I know it's written for families to protect their children, but are there pointers in this you think it would be beneficial to everyone?
Yeah, pointers in there for everyone. It could just anybody can read it too. It's good for anyone.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can go to the next slide. And that's my social media. And I forgot to put questions, but if anybody has questions,
Of course, if anyone in the audience has any questions that they'd like to ask, please come forward to the amplified box. I'd like to point out a couple things, even if, we're all trying to protect ourselves, but from, something negative happening so that we don't end up, with our identity stolen. We don't end up losing money. We don't end up with bad credit, different things like that. But if you work for a company that doesn't have securities in place, as an individual and as part of that office team, you have the right to go to the powers that be and say, hey, I think we could benefit from cybersecurity training. I did that in my company, although it does kind of fall under the realm of my job because I'm director of administration. So I handle legal, I handle personnel, I handle a lot of those different things. But I saw this as a risk a few years ago, and I went to my insurance company that handles my company's insurance and said to them, hey, I'm hearing a lot of things out there. I'm worried we might be at risk. How can we protect ourselves? And my insurance company actually sent me to a seminar, and I learned a little bit, and I came back so that I could go to my boss and say, hey, here's where I think we might be vulnerable. We need to look at this. And we actually hired we have offsite IT. We don't have it in house. And so through our IT company, at the recommendation of our insurance company, we hired a third party to come in and do a full sweep of our practices and see where we were most vulnerable. And from there, implement a bunch of steps that helped protect us. Some of the things that you mentioned, putting in the multi-factor authentication and, making it so that we have to change our passwords every 6 months. Yeah, it's a pain. We have a ton of passwords, but we put in that, the password key holder so that we have everything stored. So you don't have to remember every single one that you do. But, people complain sometimes, we have to do so much. It's such a pain. And I'm like, what's the alternative here? Somebody hacks you through your email. We do a program through my company where our IT company sends out fake emails all throughout the course of the month. And if you see an email come through and you think it's suspicious, you have a little button that you push right in Exchange, Microsoft Outlook, and it will submit it as a potential phishing. And if you're correct, you get points because you did a good job of submitting it. But at the end of the month, we get a report, and we've done a really good job of training our employees. We do annual trainings, and then we do quarterly little programs and stuff. And we have passed with flying colors for the past 3 years every single time we do this test. So our employees are educated. They're doing a good job. Granted, I work for a small company, but that makes us even more vulnerable because a lot of people get targeted when they work for a small company. Marcus, please feel free to ask your question.
Okay, I don't so much have a question, but I just wanted to point out an example for some people who may not know what phishing is. There is matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say it. Intuit, I used to do some business with them previously, had an account, and out the blue last week, I got an email that said, if I didn't respond within like 1 day, they were renewing an account that I had, and I was going to owe $449. So for one, I knew it's been like 5 or 6 years since I had used it. So I knew it wasn't valid. What I actually did was I actually copied the information from it, put it right into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was like, yeah, that is a phishing thing. We already knew about it, that type thing. So at that point, what I did was the actual company, I just hit their info and said, hey, just so you know, this is happening. But it was something that was Intuit and also Norton 360. Neither one of those companies had anything to do with it, but it was a phishing email trying to show that. So FYI, they can look pretty real sometimes. You may not realize it. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yep. Google is your best friend.
Right?
Yep. Google, yep.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, yeah, I know about the phishing because me working in the government at the time, we have to do our security on the internet, and they show us, like you were saying. But what I wanted to ask was, they have this thing out on on the web where when you surf in the web, and it's a thing where they say it shows you. I can't remember the name of it, and it's telling that you could download it for free, but then you have to pay a certain amount. But it's to keep you, like, you surfing the web, and if you're going to go to Amazon and stuff, like you said, the AI, I was wondering, would that be good to get? Because I don't know if that's real either.
Some of those can be fake too. Yeah,
point exactly.
Too. Yeah.
That's why I was asking about that.
Yeah.
Because I've been scammed through Facebook.
Yeah, there's a lot of you can find.
There's a lot on social media.
Especially the marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is good for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say if you're ever interested in a program or anything, I mean, in CyberShay, you can definitely, speak on this as well. But just like if you were buying a new car or a TV or anything else, do your research and, look and see, who's the parent company of this? Is it a legit company? And, it maybe if they are, contact them directly to make sure that this program is actually safe. And you also look at other people, look at the reviews and stuff. When you buy something on Amazon, you can see the reviews you could be looking to buy a couch. I'm just looking at this as an example, and it looks great in the pictures. And you look at the reviews and 50 people have said, this is horrible. Don't buy it. Don't waste your money. The legs broke off, the cushions, so look at the reviews and pay attention. And if you're really unsure, there are a lot of, even though nowadays there's not a lot of little computer companies, there are still some around, especially in the bigger cities. Call one up. Most of the time, they're so happy to talk to people because they don't have as much business as they used to anymore. I have I live in the city, and I have found a guy that when I have questions, I can give him a call, and he's like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Here's a better way, and things like that. So sometimes if as an individual, you need that. If you work for a company, absolutely talk to your IT department. If you trust your company, they should be working to protect you. They're not going to want you to get hacked. So. Go ahead, Metaday.
Okay. Great show tonight, CyberShay. I have a question in regards to biometrics. Let's just say, because I know biometrics, fingerprints, it's the iris, and it's also a face. Let's just say there's somebody that has a twin, or they probably look exactly identical to their parent. And then for some reason they do some criminal activity, and it gets into their sibling or their parents or another family member's account. Is there a way to determine if it was a fraudulent act, or let me say it again. Let me say it correctly. Is there a way to determine, let's just say that, the person who account it is like, hey, I didn't do this and this, that, and the other. Is there a way that can determine whether or not someone else tampered the account, even though they look exactly alike?
I guess if they have locks on top of logs or something like that, they can,
even if it's like a facial scan, I'm talking about exactly alike, identical.
I would think biometric would be able to tell that somehow. Biometric would be able to tell, because everybody's made uniquely, not the same.
Okay.
And I would think with identical twins, still have, if it's fingerprints, they're still different. And I would think the eyes would still, even though the face might look the same, I'm thinking that parts of the face, like the eyes, would be slightly different. However, I would like to point out that Metaday is now making movies for Lifetime, apparently, because that's a great concept right there that you came up with. We'll be seeing her next season. She'll be on talking about her movie industry. How you doing, James? You have a question? I don't know if you're on the amplify zone. I think you need to come forward a little bit. Not hearing you. Are you muted?
No, can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't hear you. Oh, he might have crashed.
Okay.
Relmarks, did you have a question? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I have a friend, and he's been hacked. His bank account has been hacked at least 4 times. And they give him a new debit card, everything, and they just continue to hack it. He doesn't get reimbursed.
Oh, they don't. The bank didn't reimburse. Oh, that's crazy.
So I don't know if there's something else he can do.
Is it a credit card that got hacked, or was it his debit card? Because I know in my experience, debit cards do not get reimbursed, but credit cards usually will.
Yeah, it's a debit card with Bank of America.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to start putting locks. There's a way you can lock up the card.
lock it up so only he can use it, or
but whenever he's ready to use it, he can open it up again. Just always keep his card on lock. They have a feature. A lot of banks have that feature where you can lock your card.
Okay, and then he had someone called him, and they had all of his information. It was for a bill or something, and they asked him, "Well, would you be willing to pay?" And he said yes, and they used that and took money out with Zelle. And he couldn't get reimbursed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Zelle, you got to be careful with Zelle. They have a lot of scams going on with Zelle.
Right, but all he said is, "I would be willing to pay," and the bank investigated, and they said that he agreed to pay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell him about locking his card.
Yes,
you can do that with your credit report too. You can do that. You can lock your credit report so that people can't people can't go in and check your credit. So for example, if you wanted to take a loan out and, obviously, but it's a hard hit on your credit, it's, that goes against you. You can take the loan out and then lock your credit report so that no one else can access your credit report until you are ready to go and apply for something else, so that there's no extraneous hits coming in, because credit reports get hit with random things sometimes too. There's a lot of scams going on right now with that. So you can lock it and unlock it the same way as the credit cards.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Oh, welcome. You're welcome.
Gorilla, did you have a question? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm getting like 8 phone calls a day. They're trying to sell me Medicare Advantage plans. I'm getting like 8 phone calls like every day, and I don't know how to stop that or what to do. Do you have? I mean, that's kind of cyber, kind of. I mean, that probably might be unrelated, but do you have any advice for me?
That sounds like was it scam calls? Not scam.
Yeah.
Spam.
The cyber calls where they just put them in through, they just keep going through a computer and calling. You can block the numbers as they come in, but a lot of times they're random. Sometimes they will die off, but if you stop answering, don't answer them. That does tend to deter them a little bit, because they realize they're not getting what they're trying to get. But be careful, because if you answer calls, they can do the voice print. If they ask you a question and you say yes to anything, then they have your voice print, which is very similar to the last comment that was made, like, well, you said yes. And they have the voice print. So you need to be careful that when don't answer things that come up saying potential scam. A lot of them will say that now, spam risk. Don't answer those calls, because a lot of people will pick them up thinking, well, I'm just going to yell at them and tell them not to. But once they get your voice print, they can scam you. So you want to be careful of that too.
Yeah, I stopped answering about a month ago, and I don't talk to. I'll answer it, but I won't say anything. I'll just go tick 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 tick. I'll make noises and see if they say anything. But yeah, thank you for the advice. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
James, you want to try and come back? Yes, now we can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, I'm on my PC because I'm also coding at the same time. But what I wanted to make a statement: if somebody's asking you to download software at any time, you shouldn't do it unless you're actually looking for that software off of a website you're looking for. You should never trust somebody saying, "Hey, yeah, we have this thing you can use to help protect yourself," like that, because that's a phishing right there.
Yeah, that is.
I deal with that a lot, especially being a company. I get hit a lot with people trying that kind of stuff. So that's one of the other things. The other thing is, I was talking to this guy named Neil. He was with the CISA for the government, and he was telling me that even VPNs now are not safe anymore.
Oh wow!
He said that people are sitting on top of the VPN nodes and we're hacking people as they go through.
That's scary.
So that's something you might want to look into just in case, because he's been doing it for 20 years, so I'm pretty sure he's telling me that that's what's going on nowadays. But yeah, that's something I just worry about. But it's going to be scary out there, but hopefully there'll be AI people that'll build AI bots that'll help protect against cyber attacks too. So let's hope that comes out too. That's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions? Meditate, come on down.
I don't have nothing to say, but it's just something I want to comment on what Glorilla said. He's saying that he was getting phone calls about the Medicare Advantage. There is a website. It is called Have I Been Pawned? Pawned is spelled PWNED. And what you could do is you could put in your email address, and it could tell you if wherever, like, let's just say you signed up for a value card or a discount card or whatever. It'll tell you if that certain company was breached. And sometimes when you sign up for that information, you had to put in your name, your address, your, the telephone number stuff. So it's called Have I Been Pawned? And pawned is spelled PWNED. That's just one of the things I remember when I studied cyber.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's great.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you for sharing. No, that's great. In my state, they used to have a thing, the do not call list that you could get on so that they wouldn't call you, and it worked for about 2 years, and then it fell off. So now we just get spam calls all the time. I just stop answering them completely. I'm not really a big phone talker anyways, so it wasn't a big deal for me to not answer the phone. But I figure if it's that important, they'll leave a message, and I can determine whether or not I want to call them back. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I just want to reiterate what Rail was talking about as far as the friend being scammed and stuff. I've been scammed through Zelle, through my bank, well, the credit union. So I didn't get that back. But I had a new account and everything. And like you was telling her, CyberShay, you have to call the bank, ask them to tell you how to log in to lock your card. Because the bank cards as well as credit cards, they will return your money depending on the bank. It does depends on the bank. Because when your card has been scammed, like say you go to the store and you use your card, it's a bank card as well, but it says Visa, but it's a bank card. They take that information, they go shopping, because it happened to me. And the bank will call you and ask you, did you make these transactions? And if you tell them, no, you didn't make these transactions, they block the card anyway and send you out a new one, but you get your money back. That is something that would be a good thing to let them know.
That's good.
But you're not getting your money back when it comes to Zelle. When it comes to Zelle, you're not getting your money back. And I didn't get mine back. And they took a lot of money. Trust.
Yeah. I think it, it depends too on your bank. It used to be that everybody would say, go through small local banks because you're supporting small businesses, you're supporting local. But honestly, like a lot of those banks can't handle it. And I had a small bank and I got money taken from me twice and they couldn't give me back any of it. So now I'm with Citizens Bank because it's a national bank and it's just easier to be able to have somebody with, more insurance to protect you, that if something happened, you would. But also, be smart too in the things that you're doing. You want to be careful when you buy things online. A lot of, like you mentioned, Facebook Marketplace, but there's a lot of, everybody here shops online. I mean, I'd be surprised if there's anyone who doesn't do it at some point at this, in nowadays. So when you're buying things online, be cognizant of where you're buying from. If you see something that you think looks really cool and you want this, check and see if it's available on Amazon. Check and see if it's available through a major retailer. Not that that's safer, but there's a layer of trusted, known seller versus, Jimmy's little shop on the side of the corner that you don't know if this person is legit or not. So you want to try and, use trusted sites as much as you can, because some of these smaller sites, you put your credit card in there to buy it, and then they have your credit card information. And depending on what they're doing with it, they may or may not be able to use that and go out and purchase things. So the more you can buy from trusted sites, the safer you'll be on that end as well.
Also, it's better to use your credit card too when you going on sites that you don't know than using a bank card, because if you use a bank card that's connected to your bank, they can steal the money from your bank. So I always if I'm buying something from like a foreign site, I would use my credit card. Yeah.
I also I have a Capital One card, and it allows you to get a digital version of your card that has a completely different credit card number. It's not the same number that's on the card. So if you go somewhere, you can use that almost like an Apple Pay or whatever, but that number does not match the one that's on your credit card. So somebody sees that and they try to call in that number, it won't work. It'll only work if it's on your phone that you're using at that time. So that is another layer of a little bit of protection too. A lot of it is just, not much you can do, big picture wise, but a lot of little things that you do every day that can help keep you safe.
And there was an app called Privacy that would make virtual cards for you too, virtual credit cards that you can use to go shopping with, so you don't use your real card. And then once the transaction is gone, the card goes away.
Goes away. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And as a company, we get a lot of V card payments, and when they come in, there are a lot of one-use payments. So the card comes in, it's a random number, and they send it through to you with a code that you log in to get. You apply that payment to their open invoice, and then that's no longer valid. It's just completely null at that point. So those are great ways to do transactions that are, a little bit safer online. Does anyone else have any questions?
Oh, Grumpy. That's
Grumpy, did okay.
Oh, which one? Which one do you
Privacy.
use? Oh, Privacy? Yeah.
Yep. I had to do that too.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I used H&R Block this year, which I never used before. I always had an accountant that I did all my taxes. My accountant just got too costly for me. And when I switched to H&R Block, because I changed my normal practice, they contacted me and said, "We need to speak with you to prove your identity because we're worried that you've been hacked." So I ended up having to call the IRS, and I made sure I looked up the number before I called to make sure I was calling them directly and not getting scammed to call and give my information to someone. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 True. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of good comments and questions. Thank you all. Appreciate it. And CyberShay, thank you for coming and sharing some helpful advice for everyone. Yeah, I mean, we want everyone to be protected. We want everyone to be safe. A lot of it is common sense and a lot of it is not. I mean, and the more that AI is starting to grow and the more that AI is learning from us, and we give it that information willingly. We give it our pictures, we give it our voice, we give it all these different things. The more it's learning from us, the smarter it's getting, the easier it is for people to use it to come back and harm us as well. So just be smart, and if you suspect anything has happened, then you need to call the credit bureau. You need to call, if it's a government thing, you want to reach out to the government. If it's a credit card company, if it's your bank, whatever it is, reach out. As much of a pain as it is, it's better to cancel your cards and get new ones issued than to risk using one that you think's been compromised. So be smart about it. And so that brings us to next week. And next week, we are going to have a couple of world builders on that many of us have been following for a very long time, Shushu and Nico. They've done great things in alt space, now here in VR chat and beyond. They've made some of the most amazing worlds that I've ever seen. Some of the worlds I actually go to whenever I just want to witness beauty and feel relaxed. They have worlds that are not just 3D worlds, but so immersive that you are forgetting reality. They're so beautiful. And they're actually doing a lot with Viverse. So hopefully we're going to hear a little bit about that, which is another, metaverse platform for gaming builders and world builders. So we'll see what happens with that. We want to say thank you to Vernon, because Vernon has actually connected us with them to be able to have them come on. And I hope you'll come back and check that out with us next week. So thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, CyberShay, and we will see you next Monday. Thank you.
Thank you.
And cut. We're done recording.